Hello, guys, and welcome back to the ACCA SBL series. Today's session is one of my most favorite ones because it connects three very interesting topics together. And what are those? It connects strategy, marketing, and competitive positioning all in one framework. In this video, we look at how businesses translate strategy into action through marketing mix, how they create competitive advantage, and the strategic tools like the Ansoff matrix that help them grow. We'll also relate to a lot of real life examples and so that you can see, how these models apply in practice and they are not just a theoretical discussion in your ACCA preparation. So what we'll be doing is we'll understand first of all what is the marketing mix, the 4 P's and the 7 P's network, then explore competitive advantage. What is it that helps you, build or deliver over and above your competitors, followed by an analysis of strategic tools and then integrating a lot of other concepts that we have studied earlier. So this concept is like a bridge between, the theoretical aspect and how you actually apply that in your real life. Let's start with understanding what are the different variables in the marketing mix. What is marketing mix? Marketing mix is a set of activities or a set of ingredients, so to say. Let's call it a set of ingredients, which, when combined together, help you to get a competitive advantage. Now, originally it was the 4P framework, but now it has been expanded to the 7P framework. Okay. It is a set of controllable elements a business uses to influence its customers and meet objectives. Originally, it was the 4P, as I told you, product, price, place, promotion for physical goods. But as service industries grew, the model expanded to 7Ps, adding people, process, and physical evidence. In today's digital and service driven world, think Swiggy, Zomato, or Netflix, these extra P's make all the difference. Okay. So in your exam, the marketing mix will provide the tactical backbone, for executing strategic plans, and you will have to keep your eyes and ears open when it comes to applying that. Okay, so you will have to evaluate the product or the offering from multiple angles and how can you position yourselves in order to beat or outdo the competition. Let's look at the traditional 4P framework. Okay, these are product, price, promotion, and place. Product is what the company offers. It could be a tangible commodity like a car or a service like SBI's mobile banking app, and quality, design, and features will define customer value. Okay. What is it that the product does? Like the online banking app primarily ensures that you never have to step foot into a bank for most cases. Or an app like Swiggy or Zomato, it's basically tackling your problem of the need to not travel. So you can get things at your doorstep. So you are not, the amount that you are paying is not for that packet of chips. It's for the convenience it has afforded you. Correct. So that's the feature that you are most looking out for in that particular service. I mean, I don't remember the last time I stepped foot in a supermarket. I've only been ordering using these platforms because it's convenience. Talking about price, the revenue generator part, the monetary value charged for a product, including pricing strategies, discounts, and payment terms. We'll dive deeper into that. But price is what value do people attach to your product? Okay, so if you are like Geo, for example, super low cost data plans, and it was the penetration pricing policy that completely changed the landscape of India's telecom industry. Okay, promotion. Promotion is how do you communicate the features of your product or the existence of your product to customers. In If you were to ask me which company has the best promotional strategy, my answer would be Amol. Very cute ads, so relatable, so on point with the current social, political, economic dynamic, and yet not completely in your face, not loud, not disrespectful. So that is what helps you to build a genuine connection with the customers, right? Otherwise, in today's day and age, where everybody is shouting from the rooftops or yelling on Instagram or yelling on YouTube that, buy my course or buy my product, I think it becomes borderline offensive and it's harming my ears to begin with. And the last P is the distribution channel, that is the place. How how do products reach their end market? Where do they reach? After that, if we were to think about how exactly will they be displayed, where will they be sold, will they be sold only online, will they be sold offline, what is the manner in which these products will reach their ultimate customers, how will they be displayed in a supermarket, for example, will it be placed on the front shelf, will it be placed on the back shelf? So all of these points, they do make a lot of difference in terms of how the entire marketing mix is perceived. These four fundamental elements, they form the core of the traditional marketing strategy, addressing essential components needed to successfully bring the products to the market. And now we extend the 4 P's to 7 P's, which, because the 4 P's proved to be insufficient when you were talking about, when you're talking about the service industry, right? So we needed 3 more P's to complete the marketing mix. Now, these were people, the human element. For instance, how polite a customer care representative is at an HDFC bank outlet or at a Starbucks. There are places, where small restaurants, like good restaurants where the owners come or the managers come and ask you, did you like the food? They will make a recommendation. And in service industry, I think this is what makes a lot of difference. Process is how efficiently is the service delivered. For example, Swiggy's order tracking or Indigo Airlines on time performance. I would get up at 3 a.m. for an Indigo flight because I know that they won't cancel, they will take me to my location on time, so on and so forth. And then physical evidence, the tangible environment, the look of a restaurant, the layout of an Apple store, or even the packaging of a luxury brand. Sometimes, I like the package more than the product inside. I mean, that's how nicely it's made. So together, these 7 P's, they give the companies a 360-degree view of how to deliver customer satisfaction and generate customer loyalty in the process. Now let's go into these aspects one by one. When we say product, we are talking about much more than the physical product. So if I'm talking about watch, so sorry, it's this watch, of course, but I'm not talking only about the object. That's the core product. Okay, there's the core product, which is what the customer actually needs. A car is transportation. Then there's the actual product, the design, brand, features like Tata Motors focus on safety in Tata Nexon, for example, airbags and all of these additional design features that enhance the product. And then the augmented product, the added value which comes in the form of after sales service or which comes in the form of warranties. Now, Apple does this in a brilliant manner. See, the iPhone isn't just a phone. It's a lifestyle product backed by Apple Care, ecosystem integration, design appeal, ease of usage. So there are three parts when you talk about the product. There's the core product, what the customer actually needs. Then the actual product, design, brand, and features. And then the augmented product, the value addition that happens. So do not think of product only as the physical, tangible aspect of it. Okay. Talking about price. Price is the amount that you charge for a particular commodity or service. Price, in my opinion, could also be the value that people perceive or attach with your product, right? Price generates revenue and it directly impacts profitability and your positioning. There have been a lot of times, when I decide to price a particular course, I often have this question. Satyamay, what should be the correct price? If I sell a course for 2000 rupees, people will not attach any value to it. They will think, "Arey, if he's selling it for 2000, maybe he hasn't put in any effort. It's useless." If I sell it for 20,000, they will think, "Oh, it's too expensive for a subject like SBL." So, how you price your product, people are going to perceive the quality of the product based on the price. So, having the right pricing strategy is very, very important. Effective pricing requires careful consideration of economic influences, competitor pricing, strategies, brand positioning, so many parts, right? Then the key pricing strategies, of course, there are many, many more, but the most commonly seen ones are penetration pricing, what Geo did when it wanted to enter the initial entry strategy into the telecom sector. Skimming is high initial price. There's a price skimming strategy also, where you charge a high initial price and then the price is, so that you attract the high end customers at the beginning and later on. So you don't want your product to be there for everyone. You want it to be catered to a niche, and then later on the price of that particular commodity can be reduced if you want to increase your customer base. Then, of course, the price skimming strategy, where you deliberately set a high price at the beginning so that you know that your target audience or target consumer base is basically those individuals who are high-end individuals who are willing to pay a high price for that particular product. You charge a higher price in order to recover the R&D cost, like iPhone launches, for example. And then the third approach could be value-based pricing, where charging customers what customers believe that the product is worth. Like Starbucks coffee costs 300 not because of the raw material, but because of the experience and the brand perception. So it is necessary to connect the price to the customer perception and market dynamics, not just the cost. You have the cost plus pricing approach also, where you take the cost, you add a markup, and then you arrive at a particular number. That approach is also acceptable. But what we have to keep in mind is that if the cost increases, then the price increases because you want to generate a markup on that cost. What will happen in that process somewhere down the line is uh, your price that you charge to the customers will not be in line with what the customers are willing to pay, because you are only adding a markup to the cost and you are charging that to the customer. They might perceive the product as less valuable and might not be willing to pay so much. So that's cost plus pricing. That is another approach, although not so popular. Promotion is, of course, strategic communication. Promotion is how a company builds awareness, trust, and desire. It's a mix of advertising, PR, direct marketing, sales, promotion, so on and so forth. I mean, look at Amul's billboard campaigns. So witty, so emotional. They strike the right chord with the audience and they just know how to connect. Um, Zomato's push notifications, or Swiggy's push notifications. Sometimes, it's like, we know you have Monday blues, so this is something from us, to cheer you up. That just makes, that makes you feel as if you are valued, or they hear what is going on in your mind, and that might push you to go and buy a particular product. So that's the push notification part of it. And globally, say for example, look at Nike's, there's very emotional storytelling, and that can today turn a product, a mediocre product, into a very successful one. Because today people are looking at stories, people are looking at connect, they are not looking at features. So a story that resonates with them, a story that connects with them, is likely to have a far deeper impact, a far deeper connection, as compared to just flashing the features of a particular item. Maintaining the right relationships with all the stakeholders. PR plays a very important role in terms of brand positioning, in terms of brand strategy. Direct selling, of course, that depends upon the personal interactions between sales representatives and potential customers to build relationships. So all of these play a role. Place aspect basically talks about logistics management, the channels, the distribution strategy. When I talk about logistics management, um, what is place? How the product reaches the customer, how is it displayed, and what all places are you going to sell it? I mean, think of Amazon, which uses advanced logistics and warehouse distribution to ensure one-day delivery, or Tesla, which sells products directly to customers, bypassing dealerships and controlling the customer experience completely. So it depends on what approach you as a brand want to take. Um, Today with so many direct to home services being available, a lot of the middlemen have been eliminated. So distribution can be very, very intensive, like available everywhere. Coca-Cola, Sony. So Coca-Cola is, intensive distribution. You could have selective distribution where it is limited to certain stores, like Sony products will be available only in certain stores. Yeah, for exclusive, one point sale like Rolex, or, these luxury brands and watches and shoes and all of that. So you might have, as someone who's writing the SBL exam, you will be asked to optimize the distribution using technology, using the right mix of technology, partnership, and digital channels. Okay. Now, the fifth P is the people wala P, which is the human element in services. Something, which is often overlooked. I have seen far too many people who want to standardize a particular process. That's okay when you are manufacturing ice cream cones, but does it work when you are dealing with industries or dealing in sectors, where the appearance of a person or who the person is makes a lot of difference. I mean, think about like someone who goes to say a luxury hotel. Now there, of course, they are going there for the food, but they are also going there for the kind of treatment, the princess like treatment, as you say, that they get, the way your staff is dressed, your professional appearance, your behavior, how you speak. I mean, today you will find so many people, who criticize, ki, okay, English doesn't matter and all of that. But when you go to a luxury restaurant, somewhere you want to be spoken to in a certain language. And if the language is clean, then naturally it has a certain positive impact on how you perceive that particular setup. The attitude, the way they talk, the way they behave, their body language, their competence, their skills, all of these play a role because that is what will help to build trust in that particular brand. And then, of course, commitment and discretion are. Is the service provider trying to go above and beyond when it comes to fulfilling the obligations, or what extra effort are they putting in the entire process so as to make sure that you are getting what has been promised to you? Okay. The process aspect of it is important in quite a few industries where, see, it's those systematic steps or systematic methods by which marketing and service delivery tasks are accomplished. Okay, now when I'm talking about the process aspect, say for example, when you go to a MACD, now whether you do it in Mumbai, you do it in Chandigarh, or you do it in Nagpur, your order experience is identical because the processes are standardized. It's the same appearance, the same process by which you place an order, by which the food is handed over to you. In India, IRCTC revamped its ticket booking system to improve speed and reliability, which is, of course, an example of innovation in the process. Now, see, the whole idea is to reduce the errors, to reduce the subjectivity, to manage the queues, to make sure that there is a standard approach, one size fits all, which, by the way, works in, most of the industries that we are talking about. And last part is the physical evidence, which is the tangible elements. Okay. Now, when services are intangible, customers look for physical cues to assess quality. For example, when you walk into a bank, the if it's a well-designed bank branch or a mobile UPI or a mobile app user interface, it reflects trust and professionalism. I mean, when you enter a Starbucks, there's the certain kind of music, aroma, and decor which you will find in all Starbucks outlets across the world, where you will get the same experience. And I think that is what attracts people the most. I mean, airlines use uniforms, interiors, and lounges to reinforce their brand. These physical elements create emotional assurance. It makes you stay connected. It gives you a feeling of familiarity. Now, tomorrow, if I walk into a Starbucks in New York, the aroma is familiar, the scent is familiar, the visuals are familiar, everything is familiar. So, even in a foreign land, I get that sense of connection, and that is the physical evidence or the tangible service element. Now, what makes an advantage sustainable? What I'm trying to, or what we are trying to discuss at this point is we spoke about the 7 P's, 6 P's, whatever it is, but that gives you a competitive advantage, no doubt. But how do you maintain that competitive advantage? How do you sustain that competitive advantage? Something that cannot be easily copied, something that gives lasting edge. For example, Infosys has built a global reputation for quality, or Apple has brand loyalty and design innovation. What is it that you do in order to make sure that the competitive advantage once given to you continues with you throughout? I mean, see, your competitive edge, for that, you should know what gives you that competitive edge. Is it the quality of service? Is it the turnaround time? Is it the taste of the product? So, what is it that separates you? What is it that distinguishes you? And once you know that, you will have to make an effort to make sure that it is inimitable, it is not easily replaceable, and it can continue to create value over time. You will have to, of course, keep on adding certain elements to it. You will have to keep on embellishing it, but the basic unique selling proposition has to remain the same. Now, there are quite a few price based, see, some people fight on the basis of quality or they beat others on the basis of quality. And they know that long term value creation comes from unique capabilities that others can't replicate. But some prefer to fight it on the basis of price. And that's risky. See, a low margin strategy can only work with scale. Think DMart, which uses volume to keep prices low. Now, what is happening in the ACCA coaching sector, for example, with so many players coming in, the everybody is slashing their prices. Now, if I'm charging 15,000 from a student, it makes sense for me to run a batch only if there are 20 students. But if I charge 3,000 per student, then I'll have to have a minimum of 100 students to run a batch. Only then it will be worthwhile. Only then I'll make some money. So low price, low margin strategy can work, but only at scale because the volumes will help to manage it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Right now, price war is something, which is so commonplace because constant lowering of prices, what happens in that process is the ones who don't have enough reserves or the ones who don't have that competitive standing, they will be pushed out. So a price war like those between telecom players, Airtel and Jio, it hurts everyone's profits. Nobody is making money in the process. The ultimate goal, however, is cost leadership. So achieving lowest industry cost so that you can actually afford charging a low price, right? And critical for your success is market segmentation, targeting specific segments with tailored pricing strategies. Price based strategies carry inherent risk because only one firm can achieve true cost leadership. Because and people who have the first mover advantage usually get that benefit because they will be the ones who will foresee the economies of scale. They will be the ones who will foresee the market trends and movements, and only one would end up achieving that kind of a legacy or that kind of a positioning. After a point, naturally, it impacts how you are perceived and in which direction you are going. But yes, at the beginning of it all, a fact remains the same that ultimate goal is to be a cost leader in the market. Now, as I said, some people fight on the basis of quality. Others might fight on the basis of price. Some entities might work on differentiation strategies, what makes you stand apart. Maybe, it is that something that is necessarily unique, which others are unable to do. Standing out for something special is differentiation. It could be breakthrough innovation like what Tesla is doing in electric vehicles. It could be, improved products, Intel with each new generation of chips, premium positioning, like what Mercedes-Benz does with design and status. In India, if you look at that, I think Tanishq truly differentiates itself with trust and purity and those aspects. While Asian Paints uses digital color visualization tools to enhance customer experience. So, when you are advising strategy, always recommend differentiation through innovation, brand, or service. Cost cannot be the way to tackle it. Always remember that. Then, certain strategies to position yourselves would be niche and focus strategies. The best strategy is not to target anyone, but to serve a smaller segment. The organic food market in India is a great example. By the way, I hope you know that organic items are not cheap, they are expensive. And because these organic items are expensive, somewhere they are not affordable. So there is a higher cost involved in in producing these organic products. So the price is high, which means you're only targeting high-end customers. There are brands like 24 Mantra which focus on health conscious consumers and command premium pricing. Or globally, there is something called Patagonia which thrives by targeting environmentally conscious customers. So that's a focus strategy, building deep expertise and strong loyalty within a niche. It's a great point, when smaller firms are competing with big players, you end up deciding that, my product is not for everyone. What I'm providing has a unique quality attached to it. So not everyone will be attracted to this particular item, and we are okay with that. We are okay with not getting all the customers on board because we serve a specific niche, a specific category of customers, and let us continue to focus on that. And that is what will help us build our brand. Okay, then There could be a lock-in strategy. Let's understand what that is. Some companies go beyond competition. They lock in customers and dominate markets. Take Microsoft Windows, for example, it became the default operating system, creating network effects that kept competitors out. I mean, nothing else works, only Windows works. Or Google's Android and Apple's iOS systems, they work similarly, right? Once you are in, switching feels difficult. I have known so many people who use iPhones and they say, okay, after using an iPhone, we can't shift to Android. We can't think of that. So you are not locking them down the way, companies tie you down with a lock-in clause, but you make them so addicted to the product that they would not want to go to anyone else. Switching feels impossible. They achieve this through product bundling, through exclusive agreements, or through first mover advantages. See, excessive dominance also, might create certain challenges, maybe from the competition commission or these authorities. But of course, remember that if you want to really gain a bigger proportion of the market share, then you will have to deliver something. You will have to get customers addicted to your product. And the moment that happens, the moment customers get addicted to your product, switching to another one feels impossible. Now, there's an interesting model called Bowman's strategy clock framework. And, this appears like a kidney for me for some reason, with a clock stretched there. This framework helps you analyze how price and value interact to create competitive positions. Okay, as you can see, there are eight positions, but three are key. Which are these? Low price, which is the cost leadership position. See, charging low price, not everyone will be able to afford it, because if your prices are low and your costs remain high, you will bleed cash. You will not be making profits in the process. Product differentiation. So it's necessary that, when you are doing product differentiation, when you are doing cost leadership, or, when you are trying to woo customers, you can charge a low price maybe for the initial couple of months. But to charge low price, your cost has to be low. And that is something, which only larger entities might be able to afford. So there comes the cost leadership strategy. And then only you can charge low price. A product differentiation might enable you to give a high value at a reasonable price. And then, of course, focused differentiation, premium products for niche customers. If I were to look at, say, Indigo Airlines, low cost. Vistara, focused differentiation. Hybrid, sorry, Hyundai would be a hybrid balance of price and features. Now, Bowman's clock could help you to understand where exactly do you stand. So, differentiation is making your product adding certain features which others don't have. Focus differentiation is adding certain features which the products of others don't have, and then narrowing down on one specific area and trying to woo the customers only on the basis of that. Like, someone might say, or some faculty might say, that I offer 24/7 doubt solving support, right? And when you do that, then you're focusing on a niche, and that is the only differentiator. Okay. Strategies destined for ultimate failure. I mean, we have seen quite a few of these in real life. I mean, these are vehicles designed primarily to fail. I mean, nobody wants them to fail, but the way it is defined, the way sometimes organizations overspend on marketing and have no quality product to deliver. And then, of course, that is bound to fail. Startups in India are a great example of that. Low price and low added value, items like matchsticks, there no one really cares. Low price and low added value is a situation where you don't care too much about the value addition, because, think about an item like salt. Beyond a point, there is no value addition possible. So the pricing strategy there is different. On the y-axis, you have the perceived added value. On the x-axis, you have price. And depending on what is your approach, so high perceived value, but low price. Or what is this quadrant all about? High price and low perceived value. Focus differentiation. See, when you add certain features which are completely unique and nobody else is capable of recreating that, in that case, you could charge a premium for the product. That is focused differentiation. Now, price-based strategies, which is positions 1 and 2, then differentiation strategies 3, 4, 5, and non-viable strategies 6, 7, and 8. Let's understand what each of these mean. So if you look at price-based strategies, low-cost approaches requiring significant market share for profitability. Your prices are low. The point is that if your prices are low, that can make the business that can be sustained. Low prices can be sustained only when the costing is low, and costing is low only when you are operating at scale. Otherwise, for small volumes, the unit economics will be through the roof and you will never be able to achieve any profit. Differentiation strategies, value creation through product features, marketing, and core competencies. Hybrid strategy combines low prices with differentiation, then just differentiation, and last one is focused differentiation. As I told you, if as a faculty, I'm creating a niche, or I'm trying to position myself as someone who is available for doubt solving 24/7, the way I will be viewed will be very different, and then people will expect me to deliver on that. I can charge a premium provided I have created, I have created that credibility in the market in terms of the different quality that I am providing or my 24/7 support. Non-viable strategies, risky high margins, monopoly pricing, and loss of market share. So there could be multiple such reasons, why strategies fail. Sometimes the prices are uneconomical, or sometimes the cost structure is flawed. Sometimes, the differentiating features that you want to add to a particular item, I think those features are not what the consumers want. So there are multiple reasons why it fails, and which is why the organizations need to be supple to be able to attract to the situations. And when it comes to strategic integration and implementation, basically, see, you have to connect everything. The 7 P's will have to work together with each other, and you will have to see the 7 P's are your tactical levers. They are they define your approaches, but that has to be linked with the pricing, the costing of that particular product, and then you will have to decide how do you want to diversify, how do you want to penetrate the market, how will you develop the product, so on and so forth. Like, think about it. Reliance moved from oil refining to geo, which is like complete diversification, and Apple expanded from computers into wearables and services, the watches and all of that, and bands, and all of Fitbits and those kind of products. So that's product development. See, it's not a static idea. It has to be a constantly evolving system which connects planning, marketing, execution, and all of these aspects. It has to be linked. You have to, when I say they're tactical levers, these are like switches that you will press in different measures, and you will have to combine that with pricing and your business intelligence to secure a larger chunk of the market.